Hey guys, happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2019. Big shout out to Hefe, my big boss, my big team leader, Brandon Sturman's birthday's today. We love him, he's the best. We couldn't do Freedom, the home team of Freedom Mortgage, without you, Brandon, or without you, Jimmy. So welcome to the show. We are moving around. The club is super busy, so we are in the dining room in a different spot. But let us know you can hear us and see us when you get a chance. That's always my biggest concern. I don't know if you know about this, but I actually did an entire show. Oh, speaking of Hafid, with the bougie last name. Okay, so we got a thumbs up. Hi, Donna Dallas. Thank you, guys. So keep us in line. If you can't hear us, let us know. Because again, we're in the middle of the dining room. It's kind of an interesting spot, but the lighting's good. Thank you, Hafid. So welcome, Rosie. Rosie Papagiannakis.
Thank you.
Giannakis. She's Greek.
Hello, everyone.
You gonna believe
I'm
it?
Rosie Papagiannakis.
Hey, I like how she says it so much better.
Yes, I'm originally born in Greece, the island of Rhodos.
Rhodos? So tell us
Rhodos.
about that. Why is that famous?
Because it's one of the 7 wonders in the world.
The Colossus, right?
The Colossus of Rhodes, that's correct. And I was probably born about 1 kilometer away from there. That's what.
Oh, you can tell she's European. She talks in kilometers.
Kilometers, exactly.
We pretended to do that in the U.S. and we have zero clue on how to do it right now.
Well, it's actually approximately 1.25 of miles because it's 1,000.
From where you were born.
1,600 meters is 1 mile.
And we were talking about how you're basically 100% Greek, no matter what. You've got all the Greek in there. You're born there. So what happens? You're born in Greece, which is one of my favorite countries to go
Greece.
to.
Both of my parents Greek. I lived there for a short time of my life. Then I moved away.
Why'd you move from Greece?
My parents moved away.
Where'd they move to?
They moved to Germany.
Oh gosh. Can you speak German?
I sure do. Wie geht's dir?
Oh my God. How many languages do you speak?
I speak 3 fluently and 3 I can get by.
So English, German,
German, and
Greek.
I speak them fluently. The other 3 is Italian, French, and Spanish. I can get by, but I'm terrified to speak to people because in case
you shouldn't. I love that.
In case I make an error on the words because I'm not as fluently as the other languages.
So we're going to get to it, but now I understand your global perspective, which is what we're talking about, the importance of being involved, the importance of thinking globally. All right, so you moved to Germany. Was this when you were a young kid?
Yes, and I finished high school there.
And then what happened?
Germany. Then I went on vacation to Greece to visit the remainder of the family that still live in Greece. Then I met somebody. He was on vacation, a Greek American.
A Greek American?
He was on vacation visiting his family as well. And we had coffee, and from coffee they lead to a lengthy relationship. 9 months later, we ended up getting married. At the same place where I was born.
Nice. So how does a Greek American come into it? So one parent was American, one parent Greek?
No, he was living in the U.S., but his parents they were Greeks originally.
Fascinating.
So he was in the U.S. military. So off we go. We have to move around wherever the military takes us, whatever his job will take us, and I will make a home everywhere we go. We lived in Greece. We visit Italy, we visit Spain, Germany, everything, you name it, all the European countries we visit.
And what were you doing along the way? Were you working?
I was working
okay.
in different things. Once we reached in Greece, as my husband was stationed in Greece as a military, I started helping people in the real estate industry because the Greek staff were on strike. So the only person was speaking Greek and English, that was myself as a U.S. citizen. I ended up helping them with it. Later on, I ended up getting a job, which I ended to be the housing representative for the military.
All right, so let's talk about it. Hey, Steve Bell. Steve Bell says hi, Rosie.
Hello, Steve.
Oh, we love him. All right, so talk about you were in the Greek house of...
No, at the U.S. housing office.
Oh, there's another fellow Greek, Andrea. Hey, Andrea. She's in Dubai right now, but she is 1000% Greek. I went to her, well, I won't talk about that, but you know what I went to. It was a lovely time. All right, so tell us about what you did. This is important. Is this the thing I just saw in pictures?
Yes.
Okay, so talk about that. I love this.
I was working for the U.S. government in the housing representative for the U.S. military and civilians that needed into the housing. And I did.
So you helped people transition from the U.S.
into
housing in Greece.
Correct.
Awesome.
So after this, 7 years later, my husband, because he was in the military, had to leave. I have to live with him. There was a special dinner, and at that special dinner, we have also a special guest. The special guest was Dick Cheney, which I was a recipient at that time, one of the higher award a civilian can receive. This the Molly Pitcher Award, the one you have seen in the pictures earlier.
Molly Pilcher.
Molly Pitcher.
Yes. And so that I had never heard of this before, so tell them about that. Hugs to you, Brenda.
Is one of the higher awards. Originally was initiated in 1878.
So you know.
It has the history. They give me the history with the award. That's what you read.
That's awesome.
So there is telling you there was two Mollys representing the husbands on a war, and that's how they got that award given from 1878.
That's a big deal.
Yes,
right?
It is extremely for civilians receiving that award from the military, but also from Dick Cheney, which he was the Secretary of Defense. That was a big thing.
And so how did you make? Go ahead. Only two people.
There was two people, the recipients of that award.
Wow, it's amazing. I want Rosie at some point to post those pictures because it's really cool, and you want to see the story. I'm a big history buff, so it's really cool to see that. I did not know about that. Yeah. All right, so talk about. You're still in Europe, so have you made it back to the States?
We came back to the States eventually. After we finished our work, we came back to the States, and my husband was still in the military. We traveled in the world along the way in the United States. And eventually he got transferred in Florida. So then I told him, I like real estate life much better than anything else. I'm gonna get myself a license. He said, okay.
So wait, you had worked sort of in the real estate world.
I was working,
but you weren't a licensed real estate agent.
I was on a salary pay individual. Any contracts that had to be negotiated, I did the verbal communications, arrange that, then we will go to the attorney because we were dealing with government money with the contracts.
Sure, so you had to be real specific.
It has to be specifically the contracts the way it was done.
So you get to the States.
I get to the
You
States.
become a real estate agent. What
Florida.
time frame are we talking about?
We're talking about, I got my license, I believe, back in 2005. However, I had a small child. I wasn't active. Then in 2007, I decided it's time for me to get out there. And because my son is start going preschool, and now mom is gonna go back to work.
So you get involved, you become a realtor, was it in Orlando?
Yes, I was in Orlando.
So you become a real estate agent in Orlando, and I think what's fascinating about it is you have your experience on the periphery, right? So you weren't a real estate agent, but you were helping people in that arena over in Greece.
Correct.
But it's different when you get a license and then you become your own entrepreneur, you're your own business owner.
Correct.
All right, so how was that? What was that like? Because you've got a small child at the time, and then you're in the States, this is all new, and then all of a sudden you say, all right, I'm gonna do real estate. What was the entrepreneur part like? Was it difficult for you to make the transition?
That was not a difficult transition. I had to learn to budget myself. If I want to marketing, if I want to get anywhere with it, I have to have a set up X amount of money,
right,
so I can have processing to marketing myself so people would know who I am and what I do. So that's something.
Yeah, because you don't have a point, you don't have, like a lot of people, if you grow up here, for example, you don't have this giant database of people you know who you can tap into.
Correct.
You had to build that from scratch.
To build it from scratch.
So what did you do from scratch? I think a lot of people would like to know that. What did you do in order to build that up?
Number one, I started with my sphere, the people I know, with the people with my church, the people then I was belonging to certain clubs. I'm a Kiwanis Club member, which I'm a charter member. I was a Rotary Club member. I was supposed to be a president in 2019 for that particular Rotary Club. Unfortunately, I had to turn it down, and I had to make the right decision, because if I make a commitment to a job, to a title, to anything it has to do, I also have to have the time to be performing. So that was not a good time for me at that time, so I had to.
So all right, so you're building your database, your book of business. When did you become super active, super involved in ORA, which for those of you who don't know is the Orlando Regional Realtors Association? When did that become important? Because a lot of people join because they have to for MLS access.
Right.
But then there's a difference when you want to start getting involved.
You get involved. Number one, I got to get involved, first of all, with the education, because now I'm liable. It's not like I talk with you and we go to the attorney and complete the documentation. I have to learn how to do the documentation.
Absolutely.
And in 2007, there started with being a lot of short sales in the area. So I had to learn how to process the short sales. Once you learn, then I find that very interesting. So other classes that came along, then I wanted to know more about, which I ended up having about 14 different designations.
Yeah, so when I tagged you on LinkedIn, which you may not have seen yet, I tagged Rosie on LinkedIn, and it took like three lines because of all your designations. But why is that important? So talk about that, because I think it's so important for people to know. Getting a designation is super important because it's like a specialty, right? You're actually specializing in a specific area of real estate so that you become an expert in that area.
I'm an expert, like the CIPS is Certified International Property Specialist. You have to learn how to deal with the international clientele, because we have investors coming in the country. We have also investors live in this part of the country and go somewhere else, so you have to learn how to deal with that. The other ones is quite a few. Military, I'm part of the military, so I have to learn how to help my military fellow men or women if they need my help.
Because that's different.
It's different.
I think people don't understand. So you could just be a realtor and have no designations and just help your clients, borrowers and sellers, right? But what Rosie has done is she's gone above. Oh, we love you too, Rose Kempson.
Hi, Rose.
What Rosie has done is she's gone on, and because of her passion for the transaction, for the people, for the industry, she's getting something specific to military. Because if you think about it, the military have a different need than your generic person. Military, one thing, generic, buyer and seller, it's a different world, a different kind of loan. I know, because we love VA loans. It's a different group. They have different needs, different wants. And so isn't it awesome for you to be able to maneuver through that because you got a specialty in it?
That is correct, but also at times with the veterans, they might be disabled and they need to have special access to the property. A lot of people do not know what the resources is there. That's when I come into the picture.
Which is really awesome.
And so you can help them if they need a grant. For example, if it's someone on a wheelchair, but it's a home he needs, but he needs a larger hallway, you know how to find the needs. Is the right house for that individual? However, we need to widen the hallways and the doors. We find money for this.
And you know this because you got the designation. You sat through class, you went through the training, and like I said, if you pull up Rosie, especially on LinkedIn, it's got most of her designations, maybe not all of them, but how awesome is that you specialize? And I think all that does is, to me, that's a testament to your commitment to the industry, but also to your buyers and sellers, because it's important for you to be able to serve them in the way they need to be served.
That is very correct.
All right, so talk about being involved in Global Council. Global Council, for those, and you explain it. What's Global Council?
At this present time, I'm the chairman of the Global Council. We are the members of the Orlando Realtors Association who like to be member with us. We educate them, and we educate them how to do business internationally. We have outbound trips missions. We have the people to come in as an inbound mission, so we can learn how to do business with one another, from one country to another. And of course, be involved with the Florida Realtors is another way of connecting people.
But why is that important? So talk about it, because I think I know, right? Orlando is the Mecca. It's the #1 tourist destination. You have people coming in. I forget if I listened to Mayor Dyer's latest thing on the shuttle. It's 75 million people come in and out of Florida every year. So you have to know how to handle the different markets. It's a different way of doing business from European or from anywhere to the States.
That is correct. And sometimes people come in for vacation, but the vacation ended to be investor.
Yeah.
So that is another way, because we have the sunshine, we have everything that people are looking for.
We have beautiful
and
sunshine.
It's beautiful, beautiful state. So people coming in that way. And we have to know how to handle them and how to help them to bring the currency in the country, or how to borrow money, or many other ways. If you're not part of the international world, it's not a regular loan. You're gonna go from point A to point B with someone never been outside the country. At times you have to learn how to find people to translate the documentation. The loan officers is not the same one as the regular loan officers.
Right.
So it's many other factors, and if you're not aware of it, you're not servicing your clients correctly.
Well, I think that's the point that Rosie's making, and I'll make it for her too and reiterate it. You have to be ready to handle the client base that you want, and you're not doing anybody a service if you don't know how to handle international clients and you take one on, or you don't know how to handle a military borrower seller and you take it on, because there are specific needs that they have, and the way that they do business is different than maybe what you're trained in school, or your traditional buyer and seller. You have to really know what you're doing. Does being part of Global Council mean that you have to speak a different language? Well, I don't know. It depends on how proficient you want to be in what you're reaching out to. I mean, that's my opinion. She's chair, so I don't know how political she can get, but in my opinion, you should know if you're in let's say you want to deal with Hispanic market. Well, if you want to deal with the Hispanic market and you don't speak Spanish, you might want to rethink dealing with the Spanish market if that's your focus.
If that's your focus, but it's always, if you want to get the business and you need help, it's always people willing to work with you and helping you to the translation, and maybe you can work together on a deal. Everyone is a winner. It's a win-win situation. You get your clients what they want, you get the assistance from someone, so let's work together.
And I love
That's
that
important.
because I think it's so critical for us to, because we think of our community as a Latino community, and in reality we have Chinese coming in, Brazilians, and Brazilian, believe it or not, for you people who don't know, that's not Spanish, that's Portuguese. So that's a different language. I saw an email trail at Freedom today or yesterday. We were looking for someone who is fluent in Italian. And we have them, thank God, and we have them in most languages, but I think it's important when you're doing business and you really want to, especially here in Orlando, guys, you have to figure out how to maneuver through that. If you want to broaden your horizon, which is what Global Council does and Rosie specifically has done, you've got to kind of figure out what language and what place you're going to be. Like I would never go, all right, I want to be the authority on all Greek people who come in and want to buy houses. Why? Because the only Greek I know is Greek salad, ouzo. I mean, we were joking earlier because one of my favorite movies is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So Windex, I did actually ask Rosie if she uses Windex on things because that's the kind of guy I am. But you have to kind of know what you're getting into culturally and language. You have to be able to communicate, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, so tell us a little bit about, there is an election coming up. So we have an ORA, which again is Orlando Regional Realtors Association. And there is an election for the board of directors. 4 spots, 7 people running. Rosie is the first person who has reached out to me to be on the show to talk about that. But I love that. Why? First of all, why is it important to you? Why are you running?
I'm running, number one, I have done a lot of things with our association, and I give a lot of things, education, encouraging people to be involved but also I have made decisions. I am a graduated from the alumni for the Florida Realtors. I have the knowledge, I know the how, and I will help in many ways our association to reach the right decisions they're willing to have and improve. Or we have a great organization, but we always have a room for improvement, and that is what I'm there for, because when you find something good, you don't want to leave it as good. You want to make it better.
Correct. So talk about board of directors, just so people know, and we're going to share this later on all of our real estate pages especially. But why is it important to be part of the board of directors? I've served on board of directors before, right? Sometimes they have a voice, sometimes they don't. This board of directors has a voice. You guys really do make and implement change. So talk about why that's important.
It is a lot of things, because we have a lot of issues in the communities, and with the organization we have voice. Like you have, I love to be a major investor, and I am a major investor, because the major investors, they're helping you in many ways to improve your lifestyle as a realtor. They're helping you to iron all the other things that need to be there, like affordable housing, insurance, flood insurance, and many with the advocates. I'm going each and every year. In January I go to Tallahassee, and every May I'm going to DC, advocating with our local politicians, working together to make improvements for our industry. The industry is great. I'm sorry, my tongue get a little messed up. But the industry is great, but it's up to us to make improvements, to make it better.
But why? So let's talk about it. People like to know the why, right? So you are obviously, nobody could ever question that Rosie is not committed to the industry, which is why she has the designations, which again, you just don't pay for them. You go through classes, you go through training. This is a big deal. But why now? Why are you running for the board of directors now?
I run for the board of directors because I believe I have serviced very well the Global Council. As the year before I was the vice chair, this year I'm the chairman, and I'm the graduate from the Leadership Academy, and I think I have a lot to bring to the table to make improvements for our association.
So what would you want somebody who is looking at this and going, all right, so there's 7 of you running, there's 7 of you running, and there's 4 spots. I think I know the answer, but I want you to tell them. Why are you different? Why should somebody choose you?
I want them to, number one, go and do diligence to see each and every one's resume, and they make their own decisions. 99% of the time, I believe, with my knowledge and expertise, I'm the best qualified candidate. However, I'll leave it up to you to make the decision.
That's a good answer. All right, so what's the long-term goal for Rosie? What do you want to do in your business or with Aura? What do you want to do in the future? Because you obviously have come so far and you've done so much. So what does the future look like for Rosie Papagiannakis?
For my future, I love to help people buy homes and sell homes. And doesn't matter if it is locally, internationally. Like the other day, I received a beautiful thank you note from someone that thought they were living in the RV. They have no money to buy a home. I find them a way of getting money and moving to the home. That's what I love to live for my business. It's not how much money I make annually, how many lives I have touched. And that's the most important for me. And that's also why, with the leadership positions, you touch people's lives and make improvements.
Very nice. All right, so we're going to share all of Rosie's contact information, how you can reach out to her, how you can, obviously, if you can vote, you should vote. And Rosie is here. You should, I mean, come on. She's amazing, right? All right, so we talk about mentors. I was telling you that earlier. Mentors are really big. I mean, they're big in real estate, but they're big in every industry. They helped me. So we want, if you can, give a shout out to a mentor or two who have helped you along your path. Early, later, middle, whatever it is. Somebody that comes to mind that helped you out.
It is a lot of things I will say. My parents always told me, skies is the limit. You set up your mind, you do it. And I told them I want to fly a plane. I want to be the pilot of the plane.
Nice.
However, my parents say that is a boy's job.
They're like, okay, other than that, Rosie, we need you to
Correct.
pick a different one.
So that is.
And by
what I'm
sky,
saying.
we didn't really mean that literally.
The one with the sky's just the limit, and I still love to sit on the pilot side of the plane. When my husband was in the military, I sit on the pilot seats and let me see it. However, with the industry, I had a lot of people have touched me and assist me in many ways, and tell me I can do whatever I want. One of them is our current president of our association, Mr. Jeffrey Fagan. He said to me, "You go to the Leadership Academy. You have a lot to give." So, and that's how ending. I wait to the 11th hour, and I ended being entering into the leadership and graduated.
Isn't that amazing how one person can say one positive word or one positive sentence and it changes your thought process?
Right.
Because most of us teeter, I think. We're on that borderline of we want to do it, we think we can do it, we believe we can do it, but we're not sure if anybody's going to believe it on the other side of it. So for somebody like Jeff to come out and say, all right, Rosie, you should do it, and here's why. Sometimes that's the only push we need. That's why we talk about mentors on the show, because if you've got somebody who's teetering and you believe in them, give them, empower them, and give them that power to make the leap, because sometimes you're the key to them making a huge difference in their life, and you don't know how important and how far those kind words go. And so it's really cool. So kudos to Jeff for that. All right, any parting words of wisdom before we head out, Rosie?
I would say for each and every one, the key to your success is you. You the one make the decisions to make improvements in your life, in your spiritual or family or anything else. You the one close the door if you wish to. You can always keep the door open and continue to rise to the stars.
All right, rise to the stars. Just don't pilot the plane.
No, my parents did not allow me to do that.
No, listen, I want to pilot the plane, but I probably should never pilot
I was
a
7
plane.
years old when they asked me.
Of course you were. All right, she's amazing, right? This is Rosie in the flesh. This is it. You get it. She's just like this 24/7. There are no airs about Rosie Papagiannakis.
Yes, with a kiss at the end.
With a kiss. All right, we love you guys so much. We'll be back around 2:30 with Rose Kemp. But we love Rosie, so if you aren't involved, look up her information. I tagged her. If you are an Aura voting member, you should 100% check out what she's got going on, because she is amazing. All right, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being patient. You're a joy. We love you guys. We'll see you back soon, all right?
Thank you very much.
Mwah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, babies.